No, I've experienced it. A lot of times people don't have, but there's always, everybody's needs got to be met. I mean, it's all about, who can even make it, and who gets funded, and who has money, and who needs to be paid, and who can, and it goes on and on and on. But to be able to do, I wish you success. We want to keep apprised of it. And of course, it looks like we got Tempe coming up. When is this? Tempe, Arizona, November 3rd. So November 3rd, we got all kinds of stuff going up right up until then. In fact, that weekend before that, Gary Johnson is coming to Phoenix, and we're going to show him some love. And having more GOP guys up there saying no drug war, no war. I'm hip to that. So we're going to be encouraging for that. But it's really a movement of the message of Dr. Paul. And Dr. Paul has been so articulate, and that's why we were so all in from the beginning 4 years ago, is because we knew that he has been a steadfast proponent of the message, and he wasn't going to crack. And these guys, we'll put peer pressure on him, we'll put media pressure, we'll do this, whatever. And I'm going, you know what? For the first time in my lifetime, I'm going to be able, on a national basis for a presidential candidate, I am going to be able to put my head down and plow and not have to worry about him. And this is what he said. Yeah, but what he said. I mean, I'm just, so we can, do what you're doing and advocate for getting the message out. Now, these locations that you're doing, are they universities or just towns or wherever you happen to have a theater? I mean, how's this working?
Yeah, my regional coordinators have been doing venue identification. The first one is, a guy that has a bar with a whole bunch of outside property that can hold about 3,000 people. And he's a Ron Paul guy, so he gave us an amazing deal. And our second venue in Portland is used to be a vaudeville theater. It's a smaller venue, but again, somebody who believes in the message and actually gave it to us for free. And the rest of the venues we have identified, but we haven't been able to pay for them yet. However, Revolution PAC is behind us, and they're going to make that happen.
Well, some of the artists, I know I just talked to Jordan Page yesterday. He released a new song, and we just got that out, and I'm still working. I was supposed to have it done, and I'm still working on the video with some graphics, so he has great lyrics. I see his name on here. Is he confirmed for some of these dates? Are we going to be able to get him in beginning of November here in Tempe?
Yeah, a lot of the artists are going to be doing one or two shows, some of them just one. We have a small core that's going to be doing the entire tour. But most of the artists are just going to do one or two shows. We've got, I think it's almost 30 right now, 30 acts that we have that are going to be participating at some level across the country. And we'll get Jordan there when we can.
Well, when's the Tempe one? Where is that going to be at? Do you happen to know?
I'd have to talk to my regional coordinator.
I click on this thing, see if it comes up somewhere. Is he Rock Revolution? Blah, 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 blah. I'm not sure it says in here.
Matt Edwards is my regional coordinator for there, and then also Terry, he's with Pear Entertainment.
Well, we always enjoy Jordan, and if we can help get him here and so on, we'll talk about it and see what we can do. Because, because it's, I know he's a busy guy, but he's got, a lot of these guys, I mean, they got family to put food on. So, it's, so we want to make sure that, everybody gets taken care of. But I'm telling you, this movement is much more diverse and larger than a lot of people realize. This is just one aspect of this. And I'm wanting to get back into your experiences. I found it fascinating. Let's go ahead, and I want to show a little bit of the video, and it got you in trouble, and I want to make sure we talk about this a little bit.
Yeah. Hello, America. My name is Zak Carter. I'm a sergeant in the U.S. Army. I have an ETS date of January 28, 2009. I'm here today to tell you the story of my personal revolution. I joined the Army in the early months of 2001. My patriotism led me to the recruiter's office. I had grown up in awe of my grandfathers and their stories of World War II. That reminiscing became my dreams. When I got to basic training, I did not talk about missing home like the other recruits around me. I felt at home in ways I never had before. The weeks after 9/11 found me in Kosovo, serving under NATO command, part of Charlie Company 37 Infantry, 3rd Infantry Division, patrolling the border with Macedonia as part of our duties. We had ammunition to defend ourselves with, and the authority to apprehend anyone crossing the border illegally, what you would expect from the military, right? I'll get back to why these details are important later. Fast forward to 2003. I'm rolling across the desert in the back of a Bradley fighting vehicle, part of the spearhead into Iraq, there to enforce United Nations resolutions. Other than those first 3 weeks of shock and awe, what I remember most about Iraq was the people. Crowds of kids wanting to know about Michael Jackson and Britney Spears, open-minded adults wanting to know about our social freedoms, and 99% or so just wanted to raise their families in peace and did not hesitate to tell us. My platoon and I played soccer with some of those crowds of kids. We had dinner and shared food with families in their homes. Some of us even went to a few house parties, and my lieutenant and I spent one very memorable afternoon swimming in an irrigation ditch with 5 young women. It's all of them that I think of when anyone tells me that we need to turn the Middle East into a sheet of glass, or that all Muslims are enemies. I remember thinking on this when I was there, more so since I've returned, but what we were doing when we were doing our jobs, patrolling the streets, conducting roadblock vehicle searches, bodily searching individuals, and searching homes, couldn't be helping our long-range plans for winning hearts and minds. I really have to wonder, how long would it take me to move from a position of thanks for my despotic government being removed to feeling like I lived in a conquered and occupied country if I saw foreign troops on the streets of my hometown every day? Add to this our having bases and personnel in Turkey, Qatar, Bahrain, Kuwait, Egypt, Oman, the United Arab Emirates, Morocco, Tunisia, and Algeria. I may have missed a few. We have somewhere around 700 bases in 130 countries, some of them for decades. Our Navy off their coasts, our fighter jets in their skies, the CIA in business with monarchs, dictators, and thugs, our State Department treating their leaders like irresponsible children. It's no wonder moderate Muslims take to the streets shouting death to America, and an enraged minority takes action against us. This is hard to admit, but our actions do have consequences. I would hope we would...
Whoa, our actions do have consequences. You know, this is that's powerful stuff, man. Were you in the service when you made that video?
Yeah, I was still in the U.S. Army Reserves.
Well, they didn't like that none too much, I imagine.
No, you're not supposed to speak out against policy in uniform, and you're definitely not supposed to endorse a political candidate. And there's, beyond Uniform Code of Military Justice, there's an act. It's been a while, but I want to say it's the Jones Act that deals with endorsements of candidates while in uniform. You're really not supposed to do that. I really stepped in it on that one.
Okay,
but
now we're going to have this video up on today's archive so people can go and watch the whole thing, and you can see why you were in trouble. Well, tell me how that trouble manifested itself. What did they do? Did they, they come in, put you in handcuffs, they bring you in before somebody, they slap you on the wrist? How did this proceed?
It was much more psychological than that. It was I put it up on a Friday. Sunday, I looked to see how many people had watched it. I had about, I think it was 80,000, and I was going, oh, wow. And then Monday morning, I got a call from my company commander letting me know that he was starting the paperwork, and he was going to push for a court-martial. And then I don't think it was even an hour after that, I got a call from the Pentagon. And NCOs don't usually receive calls from the Pentagon. And they let me know that I was under investigation, and that I.
Well, what was the tone? Soldier, you're in. I mean, they're yelling at you, or they, just kind of like, hey, I got a box here. It needs to be checked off. I, cordially informed him of. Was it something like that? Yeah.
The whole yelling thing that really goes away after basic training throughout most of the military. No, it was very businesslike. They were letting me know that, beyond being under investigation, that I faced the real possibility of court-martial and a lengthy prison sentence for what I had done.
Now, how did the investigation proceed from there? You are informed. Then what? Yeah. I mean, are you starting to get papers? Are you meeting with people? You're talking, being interviewed? Well, I mean, heck, there's the evidence right there. I mean, so give me just a minute. Don't drag it out. But I mean, I need to know what steps happened, because this went over almost a year, didn't it?
Yeah, it was 10 months long. It wasn't much though. It was a piece of paper every now and then, a phone call every now and then, letting me know that I was still under investigation. But at the end of the day, it was just it did nothing more than it had me hiding under a rock pretty much.
Okay, now let me get this straight. One, there had to be some resolution to this. They came up and they said, you know what, your services are no longer required. I mean, but during the interim, were you still doing your job that you had before?
I wasn't going to drill anymore on that one weekend a month, and I did not participate in the summer annual training.
So you were in the reserve then. You were out.
Yeah, I was in the reserves. I was out actively in the reserves. Yeah.
Okay, so they only beat you up so much. Okay, so now
I already had an honorable discharge from active duty and good conduct medals and theater ribbons and so yeah, I think they just wanted to go away as quietly as possible.
Okay, so this was, when did you do this? Was 2009?
That was I made the video. It was right around Christmas holidays of 2007.
Okay, we're looking at here. Okay, it was posted January of 2008, so it's like, around Christmas you were doing this in 2007.
Yeah.
So this was...
that's a copy that somebody else made. The original was taken down.
Yeah, see, that's one question I had. I'm like, somebody's saying, take that some bits down, but now it's like, everybody download it, and then you have it forever. Now, the one thing we got to keep in mind when this is, in December of 2007, this is the buildup. I mean, I remember before New Year's, right before Christmas, in the middle of December, we were a week and a half in New Hampshire. We were out in a cabin in the middle of the freaking neck-deep snow, putting up signs everywhere and so on. Then right after New Year's, we were another week and a half. We were back in New Hampshire right during, before the night of the primaries and all that kind of stuff. So while this is all going on, while Hannity is getting snowballs thrown at him, here we have, Zak Carter has this in uniform up there saying how jacked up this whole thing is and what Ron Paul said. So you can see they're going, oh, no. We don't want to be, no, hell no. Going into Super Tuesday and March, all this kind of stuff. They did not want to bring this up, make this a big giant deal. If they did, it would have been worse for them. And you already had 80-something thousand hits within a few days. So I can see why they didn't want to play Zach.
Yeah, and I wasn't the only one. There were a few others. I think there was an active duty soldier. There was also a county sheriff that endorsed Ron Paul in uniform, which is also violates that Jones. I think it's the Jones Act. I could be wrong, but all of us. It was a group dismissal of charges.